Hey guys, this is our Wednesday video segment. Today we're talking about an article I wrote and put on Medium and LinkedIn and posted to my social sphere, I guess you would call it, how to start a fire. Now, I'm Chris Martin and you're here with me in the real Albuquerque. What I want to talk to you today about is how to start a fire, right? Basically, you have to have a few things, and I go over these items in my article that you can find on LinkedIn under Chris Martin, Medium, also Chris Martin, and my Facebook, Chris Martin. So you can find all that stuff there, and that's where that article is. We're going to be getting special guests from Chloe. She's right around the corner. Hey, Chloe. There she is. Hey, Chloe. You joining the podcast? All right, she's going to join us on the podcast. And she's gonna kiss us in the face or something. Okay, so how you start a fire. Step one is you need to get your fuel. You need your wood or whatever you're gonna burn, whether that's lint, wood, I don't know. Step two, as the camera falls, is you need to, man, we're having camera problems today, but I'm gonna keep on rolling because we don't cut in this thing. We're in a no-cut business. Okay, so step two is you need to have oxygen, or you need something that this fire is going to burn from. You know, you need an they call it an oxidizer. I'm blocking Chloe here because she's going to come and knock over the camera, so I got to hold the camera here. She's being a really goofy and sassy today. You're being sassy today, Chloe. You know that? You got a lot of sass. You're over there playing with stuff and being all sassy. She's got a lot of sass today, guys. She knows it's Wednesday. She's all fired up for the weekend and the hustle. And thirdly, you need a spark or an ember. You need something to get this fuel moving. And what I'm going to talk about today is, what are we going to talk about today, Chloe? We're going to talk about how to start this fire and what I'm really talking about by starting this fire. So you've gathered all your wood, you have your oxygen, you have your flint, or if you're going old school Survivor style, you know, if anybody's watched Survivor, you're going old school Survivor, and you have those two sticks that you rub them together like this, and you have it on the other stick and the bamboo, and then eventually you get a hot amber and you try to move the amber into your kindling or your lint that you have from your jeans, you know. That's what we're trying to do. Chloe, you're being goofy today. It's just going to be 20 or 30 minutes of me getting my face whacked with Chloe's tail and petting her. So you guys are in for a good treat if you're watching this. If you're listening, you probably just hear the microphone being all crazy because that's her tail hitting the microphone. So where was I? So you can start your fire with conventional flint, or you can start old school methods by just rubbing sticks together. And what I mean by a fire, I'm basically saying metaphorically that you need to, a fire that you start could be a business, it could be a hobby, it could be a passion, it could be a calling in your life. Hey, Chloe, your butt's in 4K now. Let me just put you down here. We don't need people seeing your butt in 4K, huh? So whatever your passion is, whatever your hobby is, that's your fire. And I'm telling you how to start it basically from the bottom. You can go old school methods, and that's just grinding it out for a long time and edging it up, which you're going to do that anyways. I'm going to go new school with some flint and everything like that. But I'm going to go into some other stuff later, and you know, you're going to want to refer back to this or what I'm saying now. Chloe, I got to put you down for a second. She's being super goofy, so let me get her excited on a toy. If you're watching this, take a little side. Chloe's playing with her little cat toys, so she'll be good for a few minutes. Now let's get our camera back. Where I was is, okay, so you have your flint, you have your fuel, i.e. your wood, you have your oxidizer or your oxidant. I don't think oxidant's a word, but you have your oxidizer, your whatever the fire is going to burn. That is usually oxygen, but it can be other chemicals as well. So you have that there. You're all present. You're ready to go. So you start striking this flint, or you start rubbing these sticks together to get the heat to transfer down into the other wood to make an ember, and you keep rolling and you keep doing this and you keep doing this. And this is all metaphor for keep hustling, keep working. You may have to strike a flint if you've ever seen Survivor. These guys have flint and all the materials in the forest you could want to start a fire, and it takes them days sometimes. So you can understand what I'm saying here. To start a fire, to start your passion burning, your job, your hobby, your profession, something you're trying to start from scratch, what we're doing here today, it's going to take a lot of striking that flint. It's going to take a lot of rubbing the sticks together. But once you get this ember of flame, I don't know what you'd call it, this red hot ember, you know what I'm talking about though. Once you get that, you slowly start to apply oxygen to it, and it gets hotter and red hot, and you get some sparks going, you get some smoke happening, and then eventually your other kindling and your flint and lint, we got a lot of ints words in here. You have your, Chloe's coming back. You have your flint, now I'm all off track with the flint and lint. You have your lint or your kindling, that starts to smoke and turn on and get, going like boiling water, gets hot, and you get a flame actually. Now, once you have your fire, once you have this thing, you've got your business license, or you've, got your camera because you're in the photography business, or you got your sewing machine because you want to stitch stuff like Daniela does and Made So Modern. You have, which she'll be featuring in one of the casts later. We just filmed that this weekend, but she'll be a great story, really cool chick. But once you have all that stuff, you're going to see a lot of Chloe today in 4K. She looks better in real life, but okay, Chloe, we got to do something. We got to play with toys, or we got to do something. She's just being super friendly today, much like usual. But once you have all of this, all of that hard work of striking the flint, working the sticks, is all going to now depend on how much wood you put on this thing. To get it going, to get a small fire going, if you've ever done this at home or with newspapers, you can understand without one of those magic logs that have oil soaked in it and basically has gas or something on it, or kerosene or whatever, and you just light it and boom, you have a fire. That's the easy stuff. That doesn't exist in the business world. There's no overnight success, as we all know that. And maybe we'll have to talk about that in one episode. But once you have all this going, the size of your fire is all going to depend on how much wood and how much fuel you give this thing. Once you have your idea going, once you have wheels in motion, how much time are you going to dedicate to this thing? Are you going to dedicate 5 minutes? Are you going to dedicate more time to Netflix binging? Are you going to dedicate going out with your friends and to concerts and skiing all day? Is that what you're going to? Or are you going to dedicate all this to moving yourself forward and adding and stacking more wood, so eventually your fire is so freaking huge, you're not cooking those little hot dog wieners that you get at cocktail wieners you get at parties. You're cooking freaking bison or something. You have a fire so huge you're heating the whole Survivor community. We can see this freaking fire from space. We want NASA and the ISS, International Space Station, to think there's a forest fire. That's how big we want to get this thing. That's where you need to be. We want to be putting logs the logs we put on this fire, we want those to be the size of a freaking Yellowstone tree. Yellowstone? I don't think it's Yellowstone. I'm talking about big logs, those big redwoods you get in the California area. Yosemite? Yosemite, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Anywho, type of tree, doesn't matter, or location. We want our fire, the fuel for our fire, to be so big, it takes those big log cutters to put these things down. We've moved past twigs, lint, kindling. We've moved past little baby sticks. We've moved past, logs that you put on your house fire. Now we're into something so huge that nobody can not see this thing. You're making such an impact. You're so passionate about this. You're hustling so hard that your fire is so bright that, people can't not see it. That's what we're trying to tell you today. And I'm learning that day after day. with what I'm doing with the cast, what we're doing with the Crane Rental podcast, what we're doing with social. We're just trying to put out there so much wood and stack so much wood that once I get this little fire going, we're going to heat the outer layers of the wood, then the next layer. Now we're going to have a bonfire. Next thing I'm going to be throwing those pallets on it, and the next thing you're going to be throwing, 5 pallets and then trees. That's what we want to do here. And once you start your fire, it is all dependent on you how big you make this fire. Do you want it just to be small enough to cook some hot dogs? Those little baby cocktail wieners that you get at parties? Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to build this thing so gigantic that everybody is going to see this thing and you're going to be impacting so many people on a different level? That's what you have to really think about. I wrote in this article some ideas of why maybe people stop and just make these cocktail, I'm thinking, in like Cowboys, those little fires where you hook, you put a can of beans on there and that's, and that's your fire. That's okay if you want to limit yourself. We get all these self-limiting thoughts that tell us, you're not good enough, give up, your product will never catch on. You're on Shark Tank and these guys laugh at you, but you're so passionate about this thing and you've built this thing from nothing. It doesn't mean you have to abandon your idea in some cases, but you just got to keep stacking so much wood that it will eventually explode into an inferno. And how you do that is dedicating all the time you have to really building whatever you're passionate about. That could be finishing school. That could be paying off your house. That could be paying off someone else's house. That could be starting a business, being a national athlete. Do you think Michael Jordan ever binged out on Netflix? No, he was there before and after. If you want to hear a great story, listen to his story when he tried to join the MLB. He was there in his Porsche, driving to practice. He was there before everybody else was, and he was after, and he was later than everybody else. Playing baseball, not his natural game. Everybody remembers those awkward years for him. But once you see how much work and how much time he put into that, it just makes you smile. And man, he was doing something that nobody else has done. You don't see Shaq going to play for the Yankees. In the same respect, you don't see Jeter playing for the Lakers. So to take this ability and move it to something else is something that took so much time and work. And going back in Michael Jordan's life too, he had to do that same thing in basketball. He was there before everybody else, after everybody else, grinding, hustling, thinking about this all day. So you can see how you can stop at anything. You have these self-limiting thoughts. Maybe it's you don't want to put the work in to put more wood on the fire. Maybe it's you're too scared to put more wood on the fire. You don't like flames, right? Maybe you've had people tell you that fires are silly and you need to go get a nuclear factory, or that fire's never going to heat the whole village. There's not enough wood on this island. Maybe others are giving you self-limiting thoughts that are not beneficial to you growing your brand and your mission. Everybody's journey is different, but I will tell you this, everybody's journey is the same when you start something. I'm going to have to start a fire just as easily as Michael Jordan, I'm going to have to start a fire just as hard as Michael Jordan had to start his fire. I'm going to start my fire just as hard as any of the greats had to, Gary Vaynerchuk, all these guys. Everybody has to start their fire by striking flint or rubbing the sticks together. I don't care how you do it. Get those glasses that you burn ants with. Get a magnifying glass. Cheat a little bit. But you got to start this fire somehow and stack immense wood around it and keep adding some air to it, adding some fuel, and getting this thing going. But starting the fire is not, it's only half the battle. The other half of the battle is adding so much wood. And I keep going back to that, but really that's the basis of it. When you look at it from an outside looking in, you take two people on Survivor, all right? You have a fire burning challenge when they have a tie or whatever in the council meeting. They have to go, whoever starts a fire first stays in Survivor. Now, technically one person might put in more work and not get the fire going, but I'm not here to talk about that. You need to move on to another wood. You need to get different flint. That's another strategy, another time for another video here. But what I'm saying is the guy next to me and me are going to have to put in that same amount of work to get something started. But where the separation is in this thing is how much time you're going to put and tend to this fire. In episode 1 of the Real Albuquerque, we talked with Chris Saylor about building fires. And you just got to add more wood, add more wood, add more wood. That's what he's doing at Furniture Superstore. And he's hustling. I see it all the time. He's there on the weekends. He's there right now probably, at night, getting shipments out and talking with people. So what I'm really trying to boil it down is everybody can start a fire. Given enough time, anybody can get passionate about anything. Anybody can start a business. Anybody can excel in a job or a career. Anybody can be a professional photographer. Maybe not everybody can be a professional athlete like Usain Bolt, but I'm sure if you probably put a lot of time into it and you had some talent and never gave up for 30 years, where would you end up? I'm not sure, but you'd be really good. So anybody can put the time and work in to get this flame going, but where it really separates out for people is, are you willing to put in all that freaking hard work to go out there, chop some wood, lug it back, and stack it strategically around your flame so the flame exposes the wood, heats the wood, gets smoke, gets fire, builds it to the next level? And are you willing to go out there and get bigger logs and take a chance on yourself with bigger logs, bulldozer-sized logs, and drag that over there like the Egyptians did maybe, and stack that on your fire? Are you bold enough? Are you willing to sacrifice Netflix time? Are you willing to sacrifice going out with friends at happy hour time? Are you willing to sacrifice everything it needs to take to build that fire to an immense level? That's just a question you can only answer yourself. I'm just here to bring it to your attention that really, when you get a fire going, that's all easy. Anybody can get a business license. Anybody can have an idea. Everybody has ideas. Chloe has an idea, and she just can't pitch it to me yet because we don't speak the same language just yet, but I can see what she may want through her actions. Maybe she wants to start an organic cat food company, Everybody has an idea. Everybody has $1 million idea. Everybody has enough mindset and ability to jump into a new career, feet first, and get going. But do you have enough passion and hustle to eat, sleep, and dreamless? Do you have enough passion and hustle to give up things in your life and forget whatever work-life balance is? Look, if you have a work-life balance issue, I can't help you there, man. You then go do the 9-to-5 thing, and that's fine. If you want to build this fire past, the campfire, the Wild Wild West campfire, you're going to have to get past that 9-to-5 work balance. You're going to have to put some extra time in because everybody kind of has the same 24 hours, right? But how you use and attack these hours is going to set you apart from your competitor. If your competitor's sleeping and you're grinding, he put in 9 hours, carry the 2. He put in 9 hours, or let's say 8 hours, or maybe he took a lunch and put in 7 hours, or maybe he messed around and talked with coworkers and only put in 5 hours, and you put in 10 hours, or 12, or 16 hours every day consistently. What's going to happen? You're stacking more wood. You're slowly building a bigger fire. This thing takes time. If you ever built a fire, in some cases you can just add massive amounts of wood, you have perfect conditions, and you can get this thing going really fast, really, really going. And that happens in business too. You see people's ideas grow really fast, but they're still grabbing the wood, stacking, and strategically placing it in concentric circles around the fire, right? That can happen too. Sometimes maybe you don't. It's windy, it's cold. You don't have all the benefits of a hot, dry. You have maybe wood that's wet, And you look across the guy way, and you see his fire's like enormous, and you're dealing with wet wood that takes years to dry. So other factors are going to come into play in this analogy, but you really just have to think about it simply like this: start that freaking fire, and then I'm pointing to the camera and talking to you guys. Anybody who's listening, it's going to be all on you to decide how big this thing is, How much time are you going to do it? Another good example is if you've ever been to the gym. You could go to the gym every day for 60 or 90 days, and I would guarantee you'd see a difference between yourself if you spent that solid hour, I'm talking 1 hour a day at the gym, and you paired that with eating right, cutting down some calories or whatever the case may be, and you did it for 90 days, you're going to see a difference in your body. How do I know? Because I did it. I did that 2 years ago, and I've dropped 50 pounds doing this stuff. I went to the gym every day, and sometimes, most of the days, I did it twice. Went to the gym and then did an hour of yoga, and some days I did 3 hours of hot yoga in a row just so I could get some action going, get something metabolized, add some more fuel to this thing, get some better results. And I felt so much better every day after that. So take that and extrapolate that into what you have going on. If you had 5 or 8 more hours in your business or whatever you're doing, whatever you're passionate about, don't you think you can beat somebody else who already gave up by 5 o'clock or by 4 o'clock or by 3 o'clock? I mean, it's simple math here, man. That's how you start a fire. And I wanted to bring this to you. I'm going to start doing some Wednesdays. I may not always film it on Wednesday, but we're going to start doing some Wednesday tips for you guys, a little shorter segment. We're already coming up to 20 minutes. I'm just going to kind of cut it off here. But replay this. Think about what I'm talking about. Really take it in. In summation, it's going to take you or anybody else the same amount of time, basically, to start a fire, right? Where it separates you and the competitors is how much time you want to spend adding more wood. How much time are you going to spend by blowing on this fire, figuratively and or literally, of building this up? It's all going to come down to you, the person you see in the mirror. So I challenge you guys to die before you give up. You can check out our stickers on albuquerquevinyl.com. We sell those die before you give up stickers. Don't give up. Keep building and putting so much wood in this thing that maybe one day, maybe just one day, you're going to have a fire so big the International Space Station is going to say, hey, NASA, I think we have a forest fire down there. You might want to check that out. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fires so huge that you have to get a crane or a helicopter to put these logs on. That's what I'm talking about, guys. And you all can do it if you just put in all the time that matters. Now, you could say, hey, I'm working at a job, McDonald's or whatever, or Papado or whatever. Hey, there's still so much time you could do that. You could be starting another business on the side. If you're really passionate about McDonald's, you have to work through all the ranks to get to own one. So, I mean, there's just so much. Hey, you can give your time away for free at McDonald's to go in there and learn. Hey, if that's what you want to do, man, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some giving. It's going to take some giving of your time. It's going to take some giving up happiness, if you call it going out and happy hour happiness. It's going to take up, take not watching Netflix, if you call that happiness or relaxing. I mean, I watch Netflix sometimes too. I'm a human. But I'm not spending 8 hours of my time doing it. And if I am, you better believe it. I'm writing articles on my computer. I'm listening to it. I'm listening to audio tapes while I'm writing my things. I'm working in that time. There may be a background of audio that is like that, but I don't want to really waste my auditory senses on a fictional thing like 4 hours of Netflix. I'd rather have Grant Cardone yelling in my ear about how I need to work harder or how I'm not even working hard enough. That's the kind of stuff that you need. You need someone yelling in your ear saying, hey, you're not grabbing enough wood. Did you try grabbing 2 logs at a time? Well, no, I didn't know that. I have 2 hands. Maybe, did you try stacking them on your back? Did you try grabbing a bag? Hey, did you try getting a wheel cart? We need more wood on this fire. And you had these other guys yelling that at you. So don't ever waste time. If you drive or commute, hey, that's an hour and a half, 2 hours there. I'm learning Russian in my car, Every day I'm learning how to speak Russian. Well, what does that matter? Well, I have family that's Russian, so that helps me. But it's all about time. Everybody has the same 24 hours of time. It's going to come down to how much you use that time and how much you dedicate that to your fire. I'm going to cut it off here, man, or people. 25 minutes. That was a 4-minute rant since the last time I said I was going to turn it off, but we're gonna cut it off. We got to get some other things going. We got to write some more articles. We do have to go to yoga tonight. We have to make some signs tonight. So we're still grinding. It's 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. The grind never ends. We got to post some other stuff, get it on YouTube, do the descriptions. We're just stacking more wood, stacking more wood, stacking more wood. And I'm not, I'm still maybe on toothpick wood here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even on logs that you get for your house. I'm not even there yet. But what I do know is if I stack enough of these toothpicks, maybe I'll move into chopsticks. And then maybe once I get past chopsticks, I'll have those little branches from a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and I'll stack all those up, right? And then maybe I'll actually move to real tree branches and stack all those up. You see where I'm going with this? So start by just getting that ember going, fan that flame with a bellow, fan it with one of those fans, those personal fans you get at the amusement parks, blow on it, I don't care. But tend to the fire, stack some wood around it, and if you do this long enough, guys, I will guarantee that you're going to have something at the end of it. If you keep adding all the right ingredients, it's just going to burn that wood, and when you have all that wood burnt, you have charcoals, and even those charcoals, if you don't have enough wood to put on it at the end, they're still going to be red hot. So when you put that wood on, it's going to instantly light up. So build this up. Spend time on yourself. Spend time on your passion. Spend time, whatever your fire is, man or women. Spend your time on that. Work harder than everybody else and cut some of that other BS out, and let's see where we can take this thing. Whatever your mission is, whatever your goal is, we can do this together. We can do this as a generation. You just got to keep adding some more wood and find out where we are at the end of the day. And it's going to be a point in time where you're going to say, I want to give up. I have self-limiting doubts in my mind. I have people telling me fires are stupid. Haven't you seen solar energy? Didn't you know we can heat water with solar now? Fires are stupid. They're bad for dangerous. Don't you know they put out carbons into the air that's bad for you? So people are going to want to judge you and put you in a box that they grew up in or a box that they know to be real. But forget that. You know what's right. You know what you're trying to do. You know what you're trying to build. Get all that out of your mind and just keep working. If you're scared of fire, this is what you got to do. You got to add more wood and get baptized by the fire. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to put in the work, hey, then just cook those little wieners at those cocktail wieners, man. That's okay. That's fine. But if you really want to build something, man, just keep putting this wood on. I'm going to keep droning on about this. But hey, guys, I'm Chris Martin from The Real Albuquerque. You're visiting me today in The Real Albuquerque. And I hope to see you guys on, we'll actually see you tomorrow if you subscribe to us. Subscribe to us, chrismartin.youtube. Just search Chris Martin Real Albuquerque. We're on so many different networks. We'll link all that up. But I'm glad you guys spent the last 30 minutes with me. And I got all burpy for some reason. Thanks for spending the last 30 minutes with me talking about building a fire. Next week, we'll be talking about something different. I'll have an article written, so if you want to, refer to that if you want, you can. Or you can listen to us here. Subscribe to us. And that's about it. Chloe's not around. I don't know what she's doing. She could be doing secret Chloe things. So, but you got to see her in the beginning. So, all right, guys. Thank you for joining me in The Real Albuquerque. I'm Chris Martin, your host. We'll see you next time. I believe the next episode you'll see is Kirk's episode where we eat Vic Fiddle's burritos and Rudy's burritos. Man, was that a good one. Okay, talk to you guys later, and we'll see you soon. Bye.